Every once in a while the world moves on its hinges and nothing is the same as it was before. It can happen when war breaks out and countries change borders. It can happen personally, a birth, a death, or an illness in the family. It's called a seismic shift, from the Greek word for earthquake. In Iceland, the eruption is sending so much ash and dust into the air that it's reached England. That's nothing. The Krakatoa explosion of 1883 could be heard 5,000 kilometres away. Imagine us being able to hear an eruption in New Zealand. Imagine how loud it would have appeared to them. That was the scale of the Krakatoa explosion. The high atmosphere dust travelled around the world 3 times before it settled. Even with this little baby in Iceland, the effects are worldwide. People in Kenya can't send their cut flowers to Scandinavia. In Chamonix, near Mont Blanc in the French Alps, the tour buses wait for planes that never come, and our own airline, Qantas, is losing $1.5 million a day. A seismic shift is what Premier Mike Rann this morning said was the biggest change to the health system since Medicare 30 years ago. The Prime Minister and Premiers, discussing it in Canberra today, are perilously close to losing face if they lose out in the talks, and others are staring at imminent elections, which they also can't afford to lose. This health plan is to us what Obama's was to the President. And also in Canberra, at the High Court, a challenge to the Constitution. Last year, the Supreme Court of South Australia ruled that a particularly insidious part of the government's criminal law was unconstitutional. That means the law itself is illegal. The state government is now challenging that ruling because it wants unprecedented power that used to belong to the independent courts. And a seismic shift in the lives of 60 young Afghans, Iraqis and Iranians who transferred in Adelaide last night on their way from Christmas Island to an immigration facility at Port Augusta. They're coming from countries ripping themselves apart with war and constantly changing internal borders, where death is more likely than birth, to a country at peace with at least a reasonable health system, and where teachers are striking not because there is no education system, but because they want a better one. Every once in a while, the world turns on its hinges like pages in a book.